All right, so once that's started, guys, basically what this is going to allow us to do, Dan, is record our screen share so that if you want to go back, you can always have this video on YouTube. It's a private video, obviously, that you'll be invited to, and if there's anything again that you need to go over that you don't recall after going through this with us, you'll have it in your records there. Yeah, it happens all the time. So this is typically what we do whenever we do a training for our clients and their new websites. Stephen, can you do me a favor and just mute your microphones? Because on my end, every time you type, you take screen control. Thanks, bud. And then Dan, you're gonna have to mute your microphone too at the top of the screen. There should be a little kind of like I don't know if you've ever used Skype. There's a microphone button and a camera button. If you click on the microphone button, it'll basically disable your mic so that there's no feedback. If you're looking at the screen right now where it says About Us, Black Matcha, if you hover your mouse, there's a little settings tab at the top of the middle of the screen that has like a hang up button all the way to the right, a red one. You see it? Okay. Well, yeah, but don't click that. The second option all the way to the left is mute microphone. Oh, mute microphone. Got it. There we go. Sorry. No problem. All right, perfect. So since we're using the phone, I wanted to mute the microphone. I'm going to unmute the mic because I realize I want this to be recording my audio too here. Can you guys hear me from your computer screen now, or from your computer monitors? Right. No, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. The way it's recording, it's going to take the audio from my mic, so after we play it back in the future, it's going to have everything except for your voice because you're muted. But I'm going to try and do my best at just covering all the basics, and if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask. All right. So first and foremost, right now, this is the back end of your website, and I'm going to go to the dashboard. This is the first page you'll land on whenever you log into your site. To log into the site, you'd simply go to your website domain, which is purematcha.com, followed by a /WP admin. And we'll obviously provide you with the admin URL to log in and the username and password. But right now it's being developed on sitetaster.com, which is our domain, and we made a subdomain with Pure Matcha in front of it. So in the future, the way you're going to log in is going to purematcha.com /WP-admin. You'll be prompted to a username and password screen. You just enter the username and password, and then bam, you land on this screen right here, which is your dashboard. So one thing that I always try to stress to my clients in the beginning is that the easiest way to really make any changes to your site is to log in first and then drill down to the part of your website that you actually want to change. So now that I'm logged into the back end of WordPress, if I click on visit website or on this little home page button at the top, which is always there, doesn't matter where you are in the back end of your site, it's always there. Yeah, kind of like your logo on a website, it always takes you to the home page. So if you click there, you'll notice now that you're logged in, there's a black bar along the top. This black bar is basically saying you're logged into the back end of your website as an administrator, so you have the option to make changes as you look through your website. So instead of trying to navigate the back end of your website, which you might not be as familiar with when compared to the front end, you can do things now like simply navigate to the portion of your website that you want to modify. Like, for example, maybe you want to make a change to the premium ceremonial grade green tea. This is the first time I ever logged into your site, but because it's a WordPress website, I pretty much know how to modify your website with ease. I go to the page that I want to modify. This is the one that I want to modify, and I click on edit page, or in this case, it's a product, it's not a page. If it was a blog post, I would go to the blog post, and it would say edit post at the top. If it was a page, like your health page, it would say edit page. So you're always going to have this little pencil option, regardless of what page you're looking at, whether it's a product page, blog post page, or a standard page like the ones we're hovering over now. So just keep in mind that, if you want to go ahead and drill down on a certain page, the best way to access that page to make an edit is to log into your website first, make sure you have this black bar across the top, and then navigate to the page you want to edit, click edit page, and then you're going to see exactly how simple it is laid out for you. It's kind of like just having Microsoft Word as an editor for your website. So we basically have, like I said, very similar to Microsoft Word. You'll always, right here, yeah, this is what you see is what you get editor. So right now, if I wanted to change the first thing that shows up on this web page, which if I open it up on a new tab by right-clicking View Page and Open Link in New Tab, so I have your page that we're editing now open side by side with the back end of the page that I'm editing. Let's say, for example, I just wanted to change this word preparation, which is the first word. It's right there. So I can just simply add test, hit update, and then boom, that's it. You've updated your page. If you go back to the live version and hit refresh, you've made the update. Right, exactly. So, you basically have all the tools that you would need that Microsoft Word has to offer, such as bold, italic text, strike through, bullet lists, numbered ordered lists, make things quotations, align things to the left, align text to the center. So if I wanted to maybe align this in the center instead of all aligning left, you would just highlight it, click align center, boom, it's aligned center. Just like Microsoft Word, you can hit Control-Z, some of your short keyboard commands to undo. Well, I use keyboard commands, which is Control-Z, but you also have the back button and the forward button, which are here too. So, those are kind of the most common tools that you're going to use, but basically that's how you would edit. No, that's fine. I was going to go ahead and explain how you would edit images on your page. So content, yep, content is pretty self-explanatory. When it comes to images, though, the only thing you really have to do is just kind of click on your image, either remove it with the X button or click on edit to edit the image. So let's say you wanted to edit this image and make it a little bigger. You click on the edit button and you have some very easy to comprehend options here. The caption is basically like tagging your images with keywords. So if you wanted to try and rank this picture on Google Images for some reason, you could go in there and type in, whatever keywords you're trying to optimize it for, and it might show up depending on if there are others trying to rank it too. That's kind of like the go-to place for tagging your images with keywords. You could do things like, well, if you were to use the alternative, exactly. If they hover over it, it'll pop up. So if you, yeah, absolutely, you would just exactly. So let me just show you really quick how to edit. You would click on that pencil button like I showed you before. If you wanted to change the size, you have the option to choose default, thumbnail, medium, or full, or custom size, which you can just specify the height and width. To have your image linked to another page, let's say you wanted to make this clickable and take you to a different page, you could attach or add a custom URL is what you would want to do. So you would go in here and click custom URL and specify, right, so you could have this link to whatever you want. If you wanted to have it linked to a green matcha page, let's say, for example, you have a blog that you're writing and you have an image of green matcha, maybe you want to have that image linked to your green matcha page, right? This is how you would do it. So you don't have to really know anything as far as coding goes. That's really all you would ever need is in terms of image modifications go. Right, right. So exactly, and if you wanted to, exactly, if you want to go back and make tweaks in the future, you can. But you're also now, if you, I'll get into how to write a new post, and then now you're going to know if you ever want to make edits, that's how you do it. It's the same exact thing. So right now we're in a page, but if I were to actually just go to blog posts instead, which is a tab here, it would look exactly the same. So let me go ahead and actually update this because I got rid of test and I haven't updated it yet. But a couple of things that it stayed the same. To replace the picture, you would just simply click X and then add media in the same location. So right now, if you were to remove this, it would be gone. Then you would just click Add Media here, this button that I'm highlighting on. And like you said, let's say you had a picture on your computer. You could just click on Upload Files, select the file, and then boom, you access your computer's hard drive. You hit Insert Image, and it shows up right there. If you wanted to instead just use an already existing image from your computer, from your website, you would just click on Media Files, select the image that you want to use, and the same option that shows up here on the right would show up if you had selected a file from your computer. So, mm-hmm. Sure. Really quick before I leave, though, a couple of things you'll notice right away. You have the same exact options: the alignment, the link, add a link, or the size variations. Now, after you add the image, you'll have more flexibility in terms of where you want to move the image, things like that. So, let's say, for example, I wanted to align this center for whatever reason, and instead of having the text show up the way it did, just have it in the middle of the page and then the content afterwards. Well, I would drop the image right after preparation like it is and choose to align its center. Now, the way you wanted it when Juan was working with you during the design, I assume you wanted it to be aligned to the right. So you just click on the picture and hit align right, and the text will automatically show up to the left of it that way. Mm-hmm. Either way, either way is fine. Yeah. See, so here if you hit replace, it would just bring you to the window to where you skip the process of having to delete it and then add the button. So either way it would work. This replace button is actually something that is not very common in a lot of themes. I've actually never seen the replace button, but WordPress is constantly evolving. So they're just trying to make it easier and easier as they go along with their new platform versions. Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely the best technology as far as, you know, well, I mean, if you have a website that someone who doesn't have too much coding experience needs to manage, and it's not going to be a very dynamic type of, product heavy website with tens of thousands, if not hundreds of products in inventory, then, WordPress is perfect. Yeah, you don't really need anything else. So I think this is going to be a great fit for you. But without any further, and it's gonna perform much better too now, with WordPress and all the features that you can do with it in terms of SEO. I mean, you'll be able to do a lot more with it. But one other quick thing that I wanted to show you, which I think is also really important, um, these options here, these widgets on the right hand side, they show up on pretty much every page and post, and we'll drill down to the product pages next. But the options on pages and posts are going to be pretty standard and easy to comprehend across the board. You can set the status from published to pending review or draft. Let's say you were to sign up for marketing services and we were going to do blog posts for you. We would write the blog post, submit it as a draft or pending review. That way you can go in and publish it after you've approved it. So that's kind of something that you might see useful in the future if you decide to work with a marketing company. If you want to create a private page, for example, maybe like we have a private page. Whenever a customer signs up, we usually put their documentation, like there's maybe a scope of work or their deliverable items, on a private page that they have a username and password to. So you can have the option to edit the visibility of your page to say public, password protected, or private. If it was private, you would have to obviously just provide them with the direct URL. It's not accessible to your website. So those are a couple things. Revisions are just going to show you the number of times the web page was edited, and that's, I guess, good for accountability if you have a lot of people working on it. And there's some advanced options to see who did what and when. Publish date you could change. For example, if you have a section of your website like ours where it says our most recent blog posts, and on the home page it kind of showcases the image and like one or two sentences, like a brief description of what the blog posts were that we just were recently writing during the month. They show up chronologically based on publish date. So if you wanted to write a blog post that you didn't want to show up in your featured blog post section, the best way to do that would just be to set the publish date at something that's further back in time, so that it's not showing up on the most recent 3 blog posts. Does that make sense? So that's really the only reason why I would even worry about that. But I haven't looked at the site. I don't know if there's yep, even right here you have one. And that's a pretty standard thing with WordPress type of sites where you're going to be blogging. You have a section that shows your latest posts. So if we were to do a post right now, it would show up here the title and probably an image, the featured image of the post. So if you didn't want it to show up there, and let's say you had already 10 posts, well, let's say the first 2 fit here, all you got to do is just make sure that the ones that you want to show have the most recent published date here. So that's how you control the recent posts. Keep in mind, right now we're looking at a page, but if you drill down to any one of the posts, since you don't have any, I can't really show you, but we'll make one later, and all the options that we're looking at here are identical on the post editor page. So you'll have all of this, the content editor, the similar to Microsoft Word settings, the title, all of that. Yeah, and you also would be able to click to the blog section here where there's a link for the footer, and it would actually have every single blog post that you've made. Just the main image will show up here with like a little sentence or two about what the blog post is all about. Let me just pull up an example really quick. So here's one of our websites, and we have a blog menu item here because we blog very regularly. And if you go here, you'll see exactly what yours would look like if you were to already have several blog posts. So the most recent one, so the most recent one was this month on the 10th, where I wrote one. It's got a little snippet of what the description is and the content of the page and the title with the featured image. If you scroll down, it's got the second most recent one, which was on June 9th. third most recent one on June 22nd. So you would have the same exact thing on your site. You just don't have any blogs, so it's not aggregating anything. And same thing here at the bottom of the page, we have a feed that shows our most recent case studies. So if I didn't want my PPC case studies or my our results case studies to show, I would just change the publish date, and different ones, the ones that have the most recent post date, would show up here instead. So same thing with you. That's where you would use that publish date. Now, on the page attributes, depending on what kind of template you want to use, and I don't believe you have too many templates. I'm pretty sure most of these are the same. But let's say you wanted to create a page that looks exactly like your About Us page. Well, you could just choose to use that About Us page template to have another page that looks exactly like it, but maybe you just want to have different content, different images, but use the same look and feel as far as the way the layout of that page is. You could choose a template from one of your already existing pages to not have to go in there and format everything the way it was. Does that make sense? Right. No. So basically, right now, Stephen, are you still alive right now? Stephen, with the way it's set right now, with no parent under the page attributes, this is basically going to add a directory path, right? And the template, if any, are going to be under template, right? Right. I'm sorry. So Dan, I was actually clicking on the wrong one. So here, let's say, for example, I wanted to make this directions preparation page fall under a certain category. Maybe, for example, tips. If you wanted to make a category called tips and you wanted to make this preparation page show up under your tips category, you could simply select the tips category, but you don't have one right now. You have FAQs. So let's say, for example, I wanted to make this fall under the FAQs category. I could turn this page into a category that falls under FAQs. And all that really is going to do is, in the page URL right here, your page would actually be purematcha.com/directions for this page. So this is the actual, right. It'll now turn into purematcha.com/FAQs/directions. So the reason why you would ever want to do that is basically so that you can create categories within your page structure or your post structure. So let's say, for example, on my site, we have marketing services, and I wanted to tag my pay-per-click page and make it fall under my internet marketing category to provide more keyword opportunities in my URL, which is in turn going to let me rank for more than just pay-per-click, but it might also make me rank for internet marketing companies that offer pay-per-click, because now we have internet marketing and pay-per-click in the URL. So it's kind of like just all related to SEO, but at the same time, I think it's important that you get educated on this kind of thing. Okay, but in all reality, in terms of if you're just going to have the site and not really market it, I really don't see why you use that too much. But in terms of SEO, having that intelligent URL structure and that category structure is pretty important. What I was saying before, though, as far as templates, if you had, say, for example, the need for a different template, let's say, for example, you wanted to create a new page, but it was a different type of product. Maybe you were going to start selling tea cups, for example, right? And you will. Okay, sure. Well, here's the thing with WordPress, once you have a page that you like the way it's put together, you can go in there and modify it very easily. But if you wanted to put together a new page that's kind of laid out differently and has different, a completely different look and feel as far as the way images are laid out, and that you may not be able to do that on your own. You might have to have us create a new template that then you could go ahead and duplicate and just maybe roll it out many times over with unique content and images on each one. So this page, for example, was crafted, and it has 4 rows. So you actually had to program the content to say, all right, well, show 4 rows and put an image in row 1, and then the view more button here. You actually have to know how to insert these things. But if you wanted us to program a template like this, you can go in here and modify this page, for example, to fall under a product that was, say, for example, organic tea. And maybe you had another category that was non-organic. So now you could duplicate this page, create the non-organic page, work with the template that you already have, and all you would have to do is switch out the images and switch out the content instead of actually going in there and configuring a brand new page. So Juan's already created a bunch of pages in here for you. So if you wanted to, recreate any pages that he already did, very easy to do. Now, if you wanted a whole new look and feel like that one page that we were just looking at, let's just say it was a bit unique. What do you mean? Just some content underneath these 4 products, or more? Yeah, this is actually, let's see here. Stephen, are you online right now? Right. The themes, you said. hmm Well, we were looking at the products page before, not the home page. Go back to, I'm sorry? There are, yeah, there are only 4 products. Yeah, it will. And the product will probably be pushed down into a separate row down here. I'm not sure if the style, right. So, if you get a new product, Dan, it's really simple to add this new product, and we just simply navigate to, instead of pages or posts, if we were to add a new page, we'd go to add new page, add a new blog post, you add new blog post, product, you go to products. If you want to just click on all products to get an overview, you could do the same thing with posts and pages. They always have the option to view all, but it'll take you to an overview table to kind of show you the featured image, the name, and in this case, since it's a product, you have SKU, stock, status, price, category, tags, things of that nature. So to edit, very easy to do. You hover over it, and the edit option comes up. You have a quick edit button, which let's just take a look at really quick. And the quick edit option is usually pretty good to use, in that it has the most important stuff accessible right here. So if you wanted to change your title of the page, or the URL, or let's say the SKU, the price, the sale, the tax status, you could do all of that right here within the quick edit editor. Once you're done, you simply hit update and it's all done. If you want to hit cancel, you hit cancel. So that's the quick edit. Again, I'll open that up and just let you kind of digest what's here. But it seems like everything that you would need regarding the actual product details, not so much the content on the product page or the image and what have you. Okay, so let's go ahead and drill down into the actual page so that you can see the full edit options. And notice right now we're looking at some code, and that's basically just showing you the physical code that's being displayed in the back end of the site, because we're looking at text editor instead of visual. So toggle over to visual. That's going to show you the content the way it's actually going to be displayed on the web product page. Same thing on the edit page. They have the toggle, or you have the tabs here for visual and text. So if ever you land on a page and you saw an image on the page but it didn't show when you went into the editor, it's probably because you're just looking at the code. So in the code it has the image right here. It says image class equals medium, align it to the right, here's the URL to the image, and that's what computer programs understand as a visual image like this one here. So that's basically all you would need to do to toggle between or use these two tabs here. So we see the content of the product. If you wanted to view the product and have it, open in the back end on a separate tab like I showed you how to do before, you would right click on view product, open link in new tab. So now you could physically see the product. You see that the description is down here in this box, which is basically what I believe is what's being pulled from here. We have organic matcha. Let's see here, organic matcha. So the description is basically all that you have in the editor window here. If you wanted to bold it or do whatever you wanted to do like you would in Word, you use these options here. Also notice there's a handy link button, so if you wanted to make the word matcha a link to, let's say, I don't know, anything you wanted to, you can just highlight it, click insert link, and specify the page that you want to link it to, hit add link, and it would turn that into a clickable link. See? Now to break that, you highlight it and click on the remove link button. Alright, so just make sure you always hit update to blue button whenever you make changes, or else it's not going to reflect live. But again, see, even with the product pages, actually, I really wasn't sure if it was going to have these options too, but you have the status options, the visibility options, and when it was published. So if you were to have asked Juan to include a new product section on your home page, this is how you would control whether or not the newest products show up at the top of the list or not. You can control it with the published date, and you also have categories. So kind of like with the example on the page, where if you wanted to specify, like for example, my pay-per-click page, if I wanted to show under internet marketing category, you can do the same with your products and services too. So you would add a product category, and if there is no category that you don't see fit, you can just add a new one. Now, Stephen, if you're there, I would like you to chime in and just verify that if he uses a new category, like for my website, for example, it's non-problematic if I were to just create a brand new category, but from what you could see, if he uses a product category other than products, well, yeah, if you added a product category, for example, organic, right, you could add that, and then make this product fall under organic instead of what you have as the default, which is basically a a standard just naming convention that Juan used, which is just called products. You have to have a category, so he named it products. But if you wanted to get more specific in the future and have different categories, like for example, if you're a clothing store and you sell pants, shoes, and shirts, you're going to need to have categories so that when people type in shoes for sale on Google, the shoes category page shows up, and that just strictly shows a list of all your shoes or whatever product that falls under that particular category, rather than just having one generic product category and all of your products showing up under that page. So in the future, you might want to make use of that. You're right. Yep, exactly. So I removed that one, and it looks like it's still showing up under products. But now if I go to organic, I'm sure that the only one there is going to be product. Oh, it's not. It's not there. Organic ceremonial. Yeah. Right. So it looks like there are going to be some minor tweaks that are going to be needed to made once you do decide to get into selling more products and breaking them up into categories, if ever. But that's something that we are using with a lot of our clients. So I felt it's important to explain what this is going to be used for, and when the time comes, we might have to do some additional configuring to separate your category pages and have them show up in a clean manner, because it doesn't look like they are right now. But I'm just going to change this product back to the right product tag just to be safe here. And going forward, just make sure you use products. Stephen, can we get rid of this organic category that I created as a test? Mm-hmm. Oh, you're right. Okay, there we are. So I'm going to go ahead and delete organic. Thank you, Stephen. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to products, and just want to make sure we covered all the bases here for the product page. The product image is here on the bottom right. So to change the product image, you would click remove, and a new the button to say set featured image would show up, and it's going to be identical to this screen right here. So you would have the option to upload or gives you the same options. And in fact, with featured images, Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to choose the featured image size that's accepted. I believe with featured images, it has to be a certain size to work. So I don't even. Yes, yes, exactly. So much like the quick edit page that we were, or the quick edit uh, window or widget, whatever you want to call it, from the overview of all products here that we showed you before, where you can modify everything. If you go physically into the back end of the page, you can also modify those things by just scrolling down beneath the portion where the content is, the description of the product, and here are all your product um, options. So for example, your SKU number, your regular price, your sale price. You can set schedules. I'm assuming here for your sales. So if you wanted to run a sale where the price is $29 for only a week, or for the summer only, you could schedule it here. And see, you have different main tabs here, like inventory. A lot of it's pretty much just going to require you going in there and just reading a little bit, but it's all so extremely user friendly that I don't think you'll have any issues at all. Um, Yeah, you have complete control. Complete control. So, Stephen, when a review comes in, would they not show up down here? Right. So, why don't we check that really quick? We can, yeah. Why don't you run a test really quick, Stephen, and just go to the product that we're working on, which was the organic premium ceremonial grade tea. Right. Yeah. No, definitely hasn't been. But then once the site gets migrated, we'll configure which email address the comment notifications will go to. And typically, you'll just receive an email that says you've received a product review, and to approve it, click approve by following this link. You follow the link, it takes you to the back end of WordPress, and it says approve or deny. That's usually how it works. It's very simple. So Steven's going to run a test right now to see if it shows up, but usually by default, the themes will not allow any comments before being approved by the website administrator. So look, here it is. So yeah, I refreshed, Dan, and I scroll down to the bottom of this product page, and there's a review section that says, exactly like I said. Here's a review. Approve, trash it, mark it as spam. So if anybody from that email address or IP ever shows up again, they won't get accepted. You can edit. Yeah, I'm gonna mark you as spam, Steven, since we know you're gonna go in there and leave comments on Dan's site all the time. But no, pretty self-explanatory, Dan. I'm sure you'd agree. Like I said, man, you'll get an email every time a review is made to get you to approve it or deny it or edit it. So it's pretty cool, man. It's not like Yelp, where if somebody leaves a nasty review, it's almost impossible for you to go in there and do anything about it. Right. No, I know. A lot of the times you can't, when you're dealing with thousands and thousands of customers, you're going to get somebody who's just not going to be happy. It happens with the law of numbers. So at least here now you have the ability to control if some customer that, is just having a bad day doesn't go in there and say something you don't want there. Um, but I think pretty much we've covered a majority of the options that are important for the products. Looks like we have a short product description widget here that I think is going to be used. Stephen, where have you seen the short product descriptions being used on sites? And I guess more specifically, is it being used here on this site for anything? No, I don't see it. Right, right, right. So okay, so right now it doesn't look like it's being used anywhere from what I've navigated to, and there aren't too many pages, so I don't think I've overlooked anything. Yeah. Uh, Stephen, this is why I have you on the phone here. Some of these custom fields, do you want to touch on them? Okay. Yeah, well, that'll be easy to do. Oh, obviously, that's what a custom field is. I knew that. Yeah, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen. That's just going to be the footer file. Right. Let's see here. No. So yeah, you would go to posts. hmm Very, very easy to do. You just go into the posts. Like I said, under post pages or products, you have the all posts. You have add new. You have categories, just like all the other, posts and product section or pages section rather. hmm Yep, just like I did. You would do Mojito. You would write your text. You would maybe add an image, let's say, right? Let's just do a little quick something, right? Say we align that right, which is how it was before. Maybe you want to align it center, what have you. If you want to make this bold, then if you wanted to, run me through a scenario. What do you want to do right now? You want to write a blog post that talks about this new product that you're going to be rolling out. Right. Yep. Right, so you would wanna, if you publish it now, it's just gonna take today's date and time, and that's gonna be the publish date. So it would go live. Now you don't have a featured image, so you want to set a featured image. That's because it's likely that on the home page it's gonna show a thumbnail, like a very small picture of what this blog post is all about. And then you want to make sure you don't. Exactly, but if you want to keep it consistent, a lot of the times I use the first image that I put in my post as my featured too because it's a relevant image. You want to always, make sure you add a category if you're gonna, in the future be doing a lot of blog posting. Start thinking about an intelligent structure for your blogs. Maybe you want to write some news, maybe you want to do some product information, maybe you want to do some I don't know, different categories of blogging. How I explained before, search engine marketing using intelligent category structures is important. So just try to think about that beforehand so that in the future you don't have to go and change your URLs on pages or posts that you already did. There are none right now. It's just uncategorized and slider, which you don't want to use. So that's probably being used to kind of say, hey, WordPress, show this image on my slider of my homepage or something. So don't choose slider or uncategorized. If you don't choose a category at all, it should by default just whatever the title is, it's going to have in the URL. So purematcha.com / whatever the title is with a hyphen in between the spaces or in replacement of spaces. If you want to edit the URL to something custom, hit edit URL. Okay, so now you have a custom URL. Now if I wanted to say make a new category, let's just say, for example, let's make it Dan, and we add Dan here, and we hit publish. What should happen now is you should have /Dan and then /custom. So let me go ahead and just do a test here and hit publish. Steven, are you there? I think we need to adjust the permalink settings. So the new category shows up in the URL. Now, if I do that now when the site migrates over to the main website, is that going to be overwritten or no? Right, okay. So Dan, right now it's not doing because the permalink, basically the URL settings have not been updated to say include category. Yeah, so once it goes live, it will reflect. That's what I wanted to actually just check really quick to make sure it's working. Yep, and it's showing here. You see the body, it basically takes like the first two sentences or sentence of, right. Now, I would maybe ask Juan to change this so that it's a black title instead of white, 'cause it's a little hard to read, and maybe even have like the featured image, a thumbnail, maybe like the image that's the same size as this Facebook icon, just show up here as a thumbnail, which I'm sure he could do pretty quickly. And that is, yeah, I would do that. I think it'll look better personally, and you know, then yeah, and then this featured image should, you know, show up as a thumbnail at the bottom here instead of just having the title in white and then, you know, the first sentence or two of the body, so that it looks, you know, something closer to like this. Make sense? I think yeah, I think it'll look better. Exactly. That's what I would do. So if you want to maybe take some notes, just ask Juan to do that. I'm sure that can be done pretty quickly just before going live. And I'll explain to him what needs to be done for the categories to show up on the URLs here. But just, you know, once the site's live, like I said, if you would have chosen Dan as the category, it would say purematcha.com/Dan/custom. Or if you wouldn't have changed the URL, it would have said Mojito Matcha. I got this question here. This is a blog post essentially. So a blog post is, yeah, a blog is a blog post. Yeah. So this is your blog section, this is your page section, and this is your product section. So you know, basically when someone says, you know, hey, do you have a blog? Yeah, you do. It's part of your website. So now the thing that I would probably do if you were going to be very simplistic about your categories is just add a blog category and put it under blog. So everything that you ever do that you want to show up as a blog, you put it under your blog category, and then maybe you can even, yeah, and then maybe you can even just add a link up here that says blog at the very end next to contact, which is pretty easy to do too if you want me to run you through that. To add a item to your menu, Dan, like I was just explaining, you would go to Appearance, Menus, and here's your menu. It's actually what you see is what you get. The menu structure from the top of your website from left to right. Let's just trash this really quick, and I go back to the home page. So you have About Us on your home page, Products, Health, Directions, FAQs, Contact Us. In your Menus editor, same exact order. So you have About Us, Products, Health, Directions, FAQs. Yep, you click on the drop down here. You have the option to remove. You have the option to change the title of the way it shows up. Maybe you want it to say About Pure Matcha instead of About Us. You would go ahead and change it to About Pure Matcha and then hit Save Menu. And then your new title would say About Pure Matcha. Now, if you wanted to not only just remove or edit the title of your menu options, you could add a new link to your menu option by simply clicking on links here and just simply type in www.purematcha.com/blog, and that'll add a link to your blog section that shows all of your blogs, which would be an equivalent of this page on my site. Yep, exactly. And then anything that falls under this blog category, for example, PPC case studies, which I tagged under my blog section just to keep things a little more simple, because I have multiple sections where it's showing my recent posts. But basically anything that falls under my blog category is here. So you could add that link for your blog category. They click on it, and then boom, all your blog posts are right there. It depends on where you would put it. So for example, I'm going to give it a title, and I'm going to hit add to menu now. So what's going to happen is it's going to, by default, show it up at the bottom of the list. Now if you wanted to move it to the first, you would just click it and drag it. Look how easy that is. So you hit save menu, and then it's done. So we could just do a test real quick to make sure that there aren't any overlapping issues going on. Sometimes if you put too many, it starts overlapping. Yeah, so let's just see. Yeah, see, it's already creating some problems. It's pushing down the banner because there's not enough room. So what I would recommend is if you wanted to get that in there now, well, if you wanted to get it in there now that we're still making tweaks on it, we could do it. If you want to have a blog link going forward, I would recommend just having Juan do that. Okay, so I'm going to remove it for now just to get rid of that issue. I'm going to double check to make sure everything is kosher here. All right, beautiful. So we're back to square one. So again, real quick, you have the video, but to switch your menu options, you go to Appearance, click on Menus. You would just have the option to, move around the order of your menu options, add a link if you wanted to, change the titles, remove one, and always remember just to hit save before, leaving so it updates. I'm going to try to see here. I believe it's either going to be Stephen, are you connected right now? I think it's yep, here it's it looks like it's showing up under posts. So I think what you would just have to do, like I said before, is remember how I said don't choose slider because it might show up on your homepage slider if you do that as a category under your posts. So it looks like that's what's going on here. It looks like Juan made a little shortcut within the way your website's programmed to basically allow you to go into your post section to control what shows up on your homepage slider. Now, Stephen, do you want to kind of explain how he can go in there and add a new image? Yeah, you're right. Okay. So Dan, again, you can kind of turn back to this video once I get it uploaded. But basically, this is the process. Let's say you wanted to add a new product, and you set the product, you got a new picture added for the product, but now you want to get that image of that product to show up on your banner. The steps you would have to take are, first, obviously, create the product page. So you would go into products, you would click on add new product, right? Figure out what you want to show up as the image, the title, get the product configured. Once the product's configured and you have your image that you desire to use as the product image, maybe you have a separate one for the banner too. Either way, you're going to have to add some media. So once you have the picture uploaded into your site, into your media, regardless of how you add it to your site, whether it's via a product page or a post, or let's just say you wanted to just add a new banner without really adding a new product because you just wanted it to be a generic banner slide and not an actual product picture. You could go to media and just add a new image without having to create a product or anything like that. So if you wanted to just change your homepage slider, the first one to have a picture of you giving a thumbs up or something, you could just go straight into media, add a new picture of you with your thumbs up, and add the file here So once it's in here, it's going to be in your media library. So kind of like posts, you have the option to go to all posts. If you click on media, you have your media library, which is basically all of your media files. So here you can see all the different pictures that Juan's used while building your site, whether it's on a product or a post or a page, they're all right here. Now, each of these images, they have a URL. So if you were to actually, for example, go to one of these pages, actually I think it was about us. Directions. Yeah, directions. This image right here has a URL. Now, to get the URL of this image, you would go to your media and you would find the image. Here it is. You would click on the image and then grab the URL right here or right here. So you would simply have to upload the media file, okay, copy the URL. Once you have the URL copied, you go to posts, because remember, the sliders are actually posts without a title, and Juan simply rigged the site so that what you could do is add the URL to that value field that Stephen was just talking about before. Boom. Click on banner as the name, and now you would basically click slider, hit publish, and let me just verify one thing. I just want to make sure that, okay, looks like he's got a numbering convention in the body. Steven, is that something that I'm going to have to keep? Okay, so then let's go ahead and hit publish, and we should be able to then see that new banner showing up. Steven, I want to make sure I'm doing everything 100% correct. Do I need to set up any additional parameters before making this new banner go live? Do I have to hit add or just save? Okay. So let's go ahead and see and cross our fingers. So we have 1, 2. Okay, it's not pulling. Let's see here. No, you know what? It didn't have the slider option selected though on. Oh, whoops! No, it did on this one. It didn't have it on the new one we did. All right, let's see here. Dan, bear with us 1 second. We're just doing a little troubleshooting here. All right. I got the URL in there correctly for the media file. This did. Yep. That's not the image URL. This is the image URL. Okay, this is the one that was already there. This is the new one. Okay, so hit update. It's uncategorizing. It seems like it's automatically uncategorizing when I hit publish, Stephen. Yeah, well, I'll speak with Juan and see exactly why that's happening, but that is the way it should work. It might just take a little tweaking to make sure it works properly once, it might just be waiting on the migration to take place. That could be, Stephen. What do you think? Okay, so what I'll do though is chat with Juan and make sure that when that when the migration takes place, that you're able to add some some new sliders there with these, and that should be the way to go ahead and do it. Just upload the media, copy the file URL, the whole thing, and go into a post. You don't have to fill out a title or description. You just select slider as the category, and in the custom fields, yeah, yeah, put the URL, select banner here, and that should do it. So, and Stephen, what do you think if maybe I try using this secondary down here instead, maybe, or is that just a secondary? Yeah. So I think it's just going to require some troubleshooting, but damn, that is how you would do it. We're going to have to get the back end result to do. It says post, it says post published, and then it says status draft. Seems like, well, first you could hit move to trash from this window here, or you can go to all posts, and then from here you could just, yeah, you could just hit click trash here, or check it and then hit um, you know bulk actions move to trash if you want to do multiple pages. Now let me see here. Okay, when you go to the trash section, if you want to physically remove it from the trash permanently, you would go into trash and then click on delete permanently. Okay, now aside from that, Dan, what other kind of things would you foresee yourself wanting to change, or what would you want us to kind of go over with you? Well, no, I mean, I pretty much covered everything that I would think you would ever need to know how to do in terms of managing your website. But in terms of managing and checking on the orders and things like that, there is definitely going to be a back end on WordPress that you can do, or that you can use to track by clicking on WooCommerce, and it's its own little section within the back end of your site. Now, I'm not as familiar as Steven would be with this type of data and how to navigate through this, so I'm going to ask that he takes over and kind of explains what you can expect to see going forward once orders start to come in. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Do you think we need to do this post migration? Stephen, I'm sorry, I don't know if you heard, but I was asking, do you think we should do this after the migration takes place? Okay. Okay. Do you want to do this now, Dan? If you want to give me your information, or if you want to rather do it when. All right. What's the email? Okay, and receiver email. Okay. 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 Mm. I'm sorry. I was just. So first we went to settings, then checkout, then PayPal. Okay. Okay. So, Steven, should I now go ahead and update with the disabling of the direct bank transfer? And you said also disable. Right. All right. Done. So, Stephen, is there any other? We basically just went in there and made a few changes to the settings field here, but you think we should give Dan a rundown of the other tabs here too, or is there any other parts of the settings section that you think we should go over with Dan that might be important for him to know how to use, or not really so much, being that he's just going to be, either adding new products and maybe making some content modifications. So we'd add a shipping cost here. Okay, and do you want me to go ahead and add one now? Okay, so select a class. No classes available. Costs. What do you want me to put in here? Yep, I'm here. Yeah, usually what we'll do is we'll scope out a project. If it's something that's going to require, anywhere from 10 hours to 15 hours, or let's just say 7 to 10 hours, we usually recommend just, all right, purchase a block of, half the amount of hours that we recommend needing, or maybe 5, 10 hours. And if we need more, we'll let you know once that's exhausted, and we'll take it from there. So we usually provide like an estimated amount of hours needed and a scope of work, what we're going to do, and a credit card authorization form for each individual request going forward. So you can have some sort of sense of accountability, and so can we. So if there's ever something that you need like that and you want to reach out to us, reach out to me directly, and I can work with Stephen on getting you a quote to get that done. And for the most part, there's a lot of things that you can find on YouTube, honestly, that can really help you figure things out pretty quickly with WordPress, since it's so widely used. Oh, glad to hear it. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think it looks sharp. I really do. So I think we covered a lot. I think the only things left to do now, you've taken some notes. Just have Juan take care of them really quick, like the latest post section and adding the icons for the additional social media profiles that you're going to get listed on. And that's it. I mean, Yeah, send us an email if you can through Basecamp. Copy Stephen and myself so that we can go ahead and get that taken care of. Um, and I think that's pretty much covers everything. I mean, I don't think that there's really too much else that you would need to worry about. If you do, just give us a call. You know, we're here. We're an email or a phone call away. Not a problem, Dan. That's what we're here for, and I'll get you a. Yeah, typically the protocol is we collect half up front. Once the final payment is collected, we release the site files. So you would have the entire website's code in one zip file, and it's your possession now. So even if we were to shut the site down, or anybody were to, you have a live copy of it, a snapshot of it, if you will. hmm Yeah, I know that it was discussed earlier on that there is a redirect in place to toggle between the two. Yes, if there's a redirect in place, we'll make sure to keep it in place. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Just make sure you stick with one and don't have them both live, and don't get rid of the redirect or anything. Just keep it the way it is for the long run, and you shouldn't have any issues. Okay, so I'm gonna send you a copy of this video once it's processed, just in case you need to revert back to anything to kind of see how things are done. But yeah, you're all set. I'll make sure to speak with I guess Jason about getting the billing, the final invoice sent over to you, and we'll get the final changes made with Juan and Steven here. And then your new website will be in your hands, and I think you shouldn't have any issues managing it. We'll take it from, or we'll take it, we'll play it by ear. If you need anything else done in the future, we'll be glad to help you, all right? No, no problem, Dan. You have a good night, all right? Thank you.